You walk into a store, see a pair of sneakers that look absolutely perfect, the price seems reasonable, you hand over your cash, walk out feeling like you made a smart purchase, and then 3 months later you're dealing with blisters, cracked soles, or worse, you discover they're fake. Here's the brutal truth most people don't want to admit. You're not buying a sneaker when you swipe your card, you're buying risk. And if you don't know what to check before you pay, you're essentially gambling with your money and your foot health. Before we dive into exactly what you need to verify before buying your next pair, do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and drop a comment telling me which sneakers you're wearing right now and what problems you're facing with them because trust me, you're not alone in this struggle. The hidden cost of blind sneaker purchases. Let's start with something most people never think about until it's too late. Every single day, thousands of people across Pakistan and around the world buy sneakers without running even the most basic checks. And the consequences are far worse than just wasted money. We're talking about chronic foot pain, skin infections from toxic materials, and literally throwing cash into products that fall apart within weeks. The sneaker industry has become so sophisticated at marketing that they've trained us to focus on logos, celebrity endorsements, and hype instead of the things that actually matter, which are authenticity, build quality, proper fit, and whether the shoe is even designed for what you plan to use it for. The average person will spend anywhere from 5 to 15,000 rupees on a decent pair of sneakers. But here's the scary part. Most of that money is going toward brand tax and marketing, not the actual materials or technology that make a shoe comfortable and durable. So, before you make your next purchase, whether it's online or in a physical store, you need to understand the critical checkpoints that separate a smart buy from an expensive mistake. Authenticity check. The SKU detective work. The first and most crucial thing you need to verify is whether the sneaker you're about to buy is even real, because the counterfeit sneaker market has become so advanced that even experienced buyers get fooled. Fake sneakers today aren't the obvious knockoffs from 10 years ago with crooked logos and spelling mistakes. They're near perfect replicas made in the same factories, using similar materials, but with one critical difference. They cut corners on the components you can't see immediately, like the foam density, the glue quality, and the rubber compounds in the sole. Here's exactly what you need to do. Every legitimate sneaker has a unique SKU number, which is a product code that appears both on the shoe's tag and on the box label. And these two numbers must match perfectly. If they don't match, walk away immediately because you're looking at either a fake or a product that's been tampered with. Beyond the SKU, examine the packaging carefully because authentic sneakers come with proper branded boxes, quality tissue paper, extra laces when applicable, and tags that have clean printing with no smudging or color bleeding. Now, here's where most people make their biggest mistake. They see a rare Jordan or a limited edition Yeezy selling for 60 to 80% below market price, and they convince themselves they found a deal, but the reality is simple. If the price is too good to be true, it's either fake, stolen, or damaged goods being passed off as new. The sneaker resale market has established pretty consistent pricing, so you can check platforms like StockX or local resale groups to see what a particular model is actually selling for. And if someone is offering it for drastically less, there's always a reason, and that reason is never good for you. Fit and comfort. Your foot health depends on this. Once you've verified authenticity, the next checkpoint is something that will literally affect your quality of life every single day. Proper fit and comfort. Wearing ill-fitting sneakers isn't just annoying, it leads to blisters, heel slippage, bunions, plantar fasciitis, and chronic pain that can affect your knees, hips, and even your lower back. Here's what most people don't realize. Your feet swell throughout the day, especially if you're walking a lot or it's hot outside, which means the sneakers that felt comfortable at 10 in the morning might be painfully tight by evening. That's why you should always try on sneakers later in the day when your feet are at their largest, because that gives you the most accurate sense of how they'll fit during actual use. When you put on the sneaker, pay attention to the toe box, which is the front part of the shoe, because you need about a thumb's width of space between your longest toe and the tip of the shoe. If your toes are cramped or touching the front, you need to go up at least half a size because that pressure will cause pain and potentially deform your toes over time. The heel is equally critical because if your heel is slipping up and down when you walk, it means the shoe is too big or the heel cup isn't designed well, and this will cause blisters and instability. Walk around the store for at least 5 minutes, not just standing in one spot, because you need to feel how the shoe responds to actual movement, how the arch support feels, whether there are any pressure points, and if the materials are rubbing anywhere. Here's a rule that has saved me thousands of rupees in wasted purchases. If it hurts even slightly in the store, it will be unbearable on the street. So don't convince yourself that it will break in or get more comfortable with time, because 9 times out of 10, it won't. Purpose and use case. Stop using the wrong shoe for the wrong job. This is where most people completely mess up their sneaker purchases, and it's because they treat all sneakers as if they're interchangeable, when in reality, a running shoe, a basketball shoe, a lifestyle sneaker, and a gym training shoe are engineered for completely different purposes. If you buy a fashion-first sneaker that looks amazing but has minimal cushioning and wear it for a 10-kilometer walk, your feet will be destroyed by the end. Similarly, if you buy a highly technical running shoe with aggressive cushioning and try to use it for lateral movements in the gym or on the basketball court, you'll have zero stability and risk ankle injuries. Before you buy any sneaker, ask yourself one simple question: what will I actually be doing in these shoes most of the time? If your answer is running or jogging, you need a shoe with proper heel-to-toe drop, responsive midsole cushioning, breathable mesh upper, and a durable outsole with good traction. Brands use marketing terms like air, boost, react, zoom, and nitro to describe their cushioning technologies. And while some of this is just branding, the legitimate performance lines have been tested extensively and do make a difference in shock absorption and energy return. If your primary use is daily casual wear, walking around the city, or light errands, then prioritize comfort, a non-slip sole, easy to clean materials, and breathable construction, because you'll be in these shoes for hours at a time. For gym training, you want a flatter, more stable sole with less cushioning because you need ground contact for lifts, and you want lateral support for side-to-side movements. The bottom line is this: a gym-only sneaker will wreck your feet on a walking tour, and a running-only sneaker will look ridiculous and perform poorly for daily style. So match the shoe to your actual life, not to what looks cool in photos. Materials and build quality: the difference between weeks and years. Now let's talk about something you can inspect with your own hands right there in the store, which is the actual materials and how well the sneaker is constructed, because this directly determines whether your purchase lasts 2 months or 2 years. Start with the upper material, which is the main body of the shoe, because this is what wraps your foot and determines breathability, durability, and cleaning ease. Mesh or knit uppers are lightweight, breathable, and flexible, which makes them great for hot weather and athletic use. But they stain easily, tear more readily, and aren't water resistant, so they're not ideal if you live somewhere with rain or dusty conditions. Leather and suede uppers are significantly more durable. They age better, they're easier to wipe clean, but they're heavier, less breathable, and more expensive. So they're better for casual wear in cooler weather. Premium synthetic materials try to split the difference, offering some breathability with better durability than mesh, and they're often treated to resist. Hype versus value. Stop paying for status you can't afford. Here's a reality check that's going to upset some people, but it needs to be said. A huge portion of what you pay for hype sneakers has nothing to do with performance, comfort, or durability, and everything to do with artificial scarcity, celebrity endorsements, and social media marketing. The sneaker resale market has created a culture where people pay double or triple retail price for shoes that aren't actually better in any measurable way. They're just rare or associated with a famous person. Before you pay retail or above retail for any sneaker, go check the resale price history on platforms like StockX, GOAT, or even local Facebook resale groups, because this will tell you whether the hype is real or manufactured. If a sneaker is retailing for 20,000 rupees, but consistently reselling for 12 to 14,000, that tells you the market has already decided the shoe isn't worth retail price, and you're about to overpay for hype that's already dying. On the other hand, if resale prices are significantly higher than retail, you need to ask yourself an honest question. Are you buying this shoe because you genuinely love it and will wear it? Or are you buying it as a status symbol or investment? If you're not planning to resell and you just want something comfortable and good looking for daily wear, then paying hype tax makes zero financial sense because you can find shoes with identical or better materials, construction, and comfort for a fraction of the price. Hype is essentially a tax on your ego, and comfort is an investment in your daily quality of life. So decide which one actually matters to you before you hand over your money. Brand reputation and real user reviews. Not all sneaker brands are created equal, and this goes beyond just Nike versus Adidas or Puma versus New Balance. Because even within a single brand, different product lines have wildly different reputations for quality and durability. This is where you need to do your homework by reading actual user reviews, not the sponsored content or paid athlete endorsements, but real feedback from people who bought the shoe and wore it for months. Go to YouTube and search for long-term reviews, check Reddit sneaker communities, browse local Facebook groups, and look specifically for recurring complaints because if dozens of people are saying the same thing like the soles crack after 3 months, or the insole stinks within 2 weeks, or the heel cup collapses quickly, that's not bad luck. That's a design or manufacturing flaw. Pay attention to the balance between initial comfort and long-term durability because some sneakers use super soft foam that feels amazing when you first put them on. But that same foam compresses and loses support within 3 to 6 months, leaving you with a flat, uncomfortable shoe. Mid-density foam typically lasts much longer while still providing decent cushioning. So if you're buying for durability, don't automatically go for the softest option. Also, be aware of brand-specific realities, because some mall brands or celebrity-branded sneakers are infamous for huge markups with weak construction, thin materials, and poor quality control. And the only reason they sell is because of the name or the person attached to them. If everyone online is complaining about the same issue and the brand isn't fixing it across multiple production runs, that tells you they don't care about quality, they care about moving units, and you shouldn't reward that with your money. Seller and platform trust. Where you buy matters as much as what you buy. Even if you've verified everything else on this list, you can still get scammed if you're buying from an untrustworthy seller or sketchy platform. So this checkpoint is about protecting yourself from fraud and ensuring you have recourse if something goes wrong. If you're buying from a physical store, pay attention to the overall environment and professionalism, because authorized retailers will have proper lighting, organized inventory, knowledgeable staff, and clear return policies posted. When you're examining the shoe in store, check for any signs of tampering like resealed boxes, missing tissue paper, swapped insoles, or strong chemical smells that suggest the shoe has been treated or cleaned to hide defects. If the store refuses to let you inspect the box, won't show you both shoes, or pressures you to buy quickly without proper examination, leave immediately because these are classic scam tactics. For online purchases, the risk multiplies because you can't physically inspect the product, so you need to be even more careful about seller verification. Only buy from verified platforms, official brand websites, or sellers with extensive positive feedback and clear photos showing the actual product, not stock images. If a seller won't provide photos of the box label, the SKU tag, the insole branding, and multiple angles of the actual shoes, they're hiding something, period. Check the seller's return policy carefully because legitimate sellers will offer at least 7 to 14 days for returns or exchanges, and if there's no return policy or it's buried in confusing terms, that's a red flag. Be especially cautious of sellers who only accept non-traceable payment methods or who pressure you to complete the transaction outside of the platform's protection system, because once that money leaves your account through an unprotected channel, it's gone forever. Budget and cost per wear analysis. The final checkpoint requires you to shift your thinking from sticker price to actual value over time, because the cheapest sneaker up front is often the most expensive in the long run. A 12,000 rupee sneaker that you wear 200 times over 2 years costs you 60 rupees per wear, while an 8,000 rupee sneaker that falls apart in 3 months and gets worn maybe 50 times costs you 160 rupees per wear. Start doing this math before every purchase by honestly estimating how often you'll actually wear the shoe and how long it's likely to last based on the materials and reviews you've researched. For daily wear or work shoes, prioritize durability and comfort over trendy design because you need these to survive heavy use, frequent cleaning, and long hours on your feet. For occasional or special event shoes, you can take more design-first risks because they won't face the same wear and tear. Don't forget to factor in hidden costs like having to replace cheap sneakers every few months, paying for insoles to make uncomfortable shoes bearable, cleaning products for materials that stain easily, or shipping and return fees if you're buying online. Sometimes paying more upfront for a quality shoe from a reputable brand saves you money, time, and frustration over the year, and other times you can find perfectly good options at mid-tier prices that offer 90% of the performance for half the cost. So here's everything in one final thought. Before you hand over your hard-earned money for your next pair of sneakers, run through this complete verification process starting with SKU and authenticity checks, confirming proper fit with enough toe room and heel lock, making sure the shoe actually matches your intended use, whether that's running, gym training, or daily casual wear, inspecting the materials and stitching for quality construction, checking real user reviews for durability and comfort over time, verifying you're buying from a trusted seller with proper return policies, and finally calculating the actual cost per wear based on how long the shoe will realistically last. If you skip even one of these checkpoints, you're not making a purchase, you're making a gamble, and the odds are never in your favor. Your feet carry you through life, they deserve better than fake materials, poor fit, and overhyped garbage that falls apart in weeks. So treat every sneaker purchase like the investment it actually is. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button, drop a comment sharing your worst sneaker purchase experience so others can learn from it, and subscribe because I break down consumer products like this every single week, helping you make smarter decisions and avoid expensive mistakes.